We're just some kids who love to read. Our minds expand with every page we flick. We're discussing our books, getting lost in the plot. We're talking about heroes, villains, and what they have got. We're learning new words, our imaginations on fire. Books are a fuel taking us higher and higher. Yeah.
Classic, fiction, non-fiction biography, adventure, mystery, so much to explore. Books bring us together and we never get bored. We're just some bookworm kids, it's true, but we don't turn into worms. That's not what books do.
We love to read before we hit the sack, and dreams of fighting dragons, it's a fact. Sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry. Books give us wings so that we can fly. We read about wizards, witches, and spells, and sometimes we pretend to have magic as well. Yeah. We are just some kids who love to read. Our minds expand every day.
Welcome to Between the Pages. In today's episode, we'll embark on a literary journey through the unique lens of Eknoor, a bright 13-year-old who is not just an avid reader, but a nature enthusiast, an animal lover, and a homeschooler. But that's not all. Brace yourselves for a delightful adventure. Eknoor has selected a book that is sure to sweep us off our feet. Let's welcome Eknoor.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you as well. I'm Eknoor.
I'm Anna. Can you tell us about yourself?
Sure. So I'm 13 years old and I love reading. I've loved it since childhood. So, yeah, I'm
I mean,
excited to be here.
are there any other hobbies you have apart from reading?
Sure, I like to do art a lot, and aside from that, I like to dance and listen to music.
Nice. What kind of dance do you do?
I usually can do anything as long as I like the song. That's the most important.
Oh, I learn Kathak, but that's the only dance I can dance.
For me, even dancing was like really recent because I used to be really awkward while dancing. So for most of my years, I was just like, I'm not gonna dance. Yeah.
So today, what book are you here with?
I'm here with the book Almond by Won-Pyung Sohn.
Can you give us a summary about the book?
All right. So it's about a boy who has a, like you can say, a disease called alexithymia, which basically means that he can't feel emotions or can't express them fully. So it's about his own experience and how he meets his bullies. It's really like, so basically most people would expect it to be like Wonder or other books, but it's actually pretty unique and it's really interesting compared to other books of this genre.
Uh, how long did it take you to read that book?
So it basically took me like, I mean, I really liked the book, so it took me max like 3 hours in reading
Mhm.
it, I guess.
So let's talk about the main character in Almond. Do you find the protagonist relatable or intriguing? Why or why not?
I find the protagonist relatable, as in how they face things. Yeah, it's
If,
really so it's basically really relatable to me how he can't explain himself very well and how he deals with other people.
uh-huh. So yeah, so the other question was, were there any characters in the book that you related or connected with on a personal level? So it's the main character for you, right? Can
Yeah.
you Okay, so without giving any spoilers, how did you feel about the ending of the book? Did it satisfy you or did it leave you wanting more?
Well, the ending of the book didn't seem like an ending because in the prologue they mention that this book isn't a sad or a happy story because you can't even know whether the story is sad or happy. It just depends on the person. So I don't know whether I liked the ending or whether I didn't, but I had no complaints with it. It was very fitting.
Would you want more about that for that, like about that book, or it's fine if it's like this much only?
Well, if you're talking about a sequel, I would love to have one and see how the characters go through their lives as adults after they graduate from high school and all. Yeah, I would love to read about that.
Uh-huh. Okay. Do you think this book would appeal to other readers your age, and why do you think so?
I feel like it would very much because, first of all, it features high school students. And then, second of all, it's told from the perspective of a high school student who is not very like normal, but at the same time, lots of people my age would also like to read it because of the narrating and the whole experience that comes.
Okay. So, if you could choose one word to describe the book, what would it be?
Wait, now I need to think.
Okay.
All right, I guess unique. It was
Mhm.
crazy unique.
Nice. So, okay, I was also researching about this book, so that first thing was wrong, that it doesn't have any magical things.
Yeah, yeah.
But this, does it explore the concept of bravery and overcoming fears and challenges?
It does explore the concept of bravery, I could say, and in overcoming fear and challenges, not so much for the main character, but for the other characters, sure, yes.
So, can you think of a character from the book that displays these traits?
Well, actually, the thing that I liked the most in the book was the fact that the main character became friends with his bully. So his bully was the one who overcame his fears and was basically, well, I can't say anything without giving away spoilers, but so basically he overcame his fear and decided in like lots of things. So basically he started being more open about himself to other people, about the bully, and in the same way he also understood that being brave is not just being afraid of other things. It can also be like standing up for your friends and not hitting people.
Uh-huh. That's a different side of view. I wouldn't have thought about that. Like, even kind of, I think that hitting people is more of a bravery act than like stepping up.
Yeah.
Okay. So, if you could step in the world of Almond and meet one character, who would it be and what would you say to them?
I wouldn't say anything specific, but I guess that the character I would like to meet would be Dora. So basically she is like the friend of the main character. You could say that she is his girlfriend, but they didn't go that deep into it in the book. So I wanted to know what she thought about him first because of all the students who mocked him, teased him, and spread rumors about him. How did she think? What did she think about him? I would just have a normal conversation and ask her stuff in between.
That's nice. Okay. How would you rate this book on a scale of 1 to 10 and why?
I would rate it 10 out of 10 because originally I just read it because old friend recommended me it, right? And then I decided that why not I'll just order it for my birthday and read it, right? But it turned out to be quite surprising and like over exceeded all my expectations. So I'd
What
rate it 10 out of 10.
what were your expectations?
So basically, there are other books that talk about high school bullying and mental health and other like stuff. Like, for example, Wonder is the most common example, right? It's about a kid who like goes through several surgeries, and then he finally goes to school, and then he gets bullied, all that stuff. So that was what I was expecting. Like, let's say, not a mediocre plot, but something that's very already very talked about. But instead, the character referring to himself as a monster, and how like like how his mother and grandmother were like, his mother was in a coma but his grandmother died, and how he dealt with it, and his maturity was all very surprising, and how he talked with his bullies and simply ignored them.
Nice. Okay. So now that we've talked about that book, I have some like around 10 rapid fire questions for you. So
Sure.
yeah, so I'm just gonna share my screen and I mean you can answer them, okay? I see you were getting ready.
Yeah.
Favorite genre?
Young adult.
Mm-hmm. Early morning or late night reading?
Late night reading.
Ebook or physical book?
Physical book.
Mm. Borrowing books or buying them?
Buying them.
Standalone books or series?
S- Both. Can I say both?
I mean, up to you.
Both.
But what if you had to choose one?
I would say standalone books. Like,
Nice.
a book can be divided in several parts too.
Yeah. Okay. Fiction or non-fiction?
Realistic fiction, I guess. All right. Or don't hate me, non-fiction.
It's okay. Everyone has their own opinions. Reading indoors or outdoors?
Indoors.
Favorite author?
Um, Leigh Bardugo, I guess maybe.
Can you mention some of the books they've written? Because I have no
So
idea.
basically, she has written the Shadow and Bone series, and the Six of Crows duology.
Nice.
Yeah.
Book you have reread most times.
Well, I've reread a lot of books, but I guess for this it would be Fish in a Tree by, I forgot the author's name. Yeah.
What's that about?
It's about a girl. So basically, she has dyslexia, and it's based on the quote by Albert Einstein that if you like tell a fish, no, if you like put a fish in a tree and tell it to climb it or something like that, it will live its whole life believing it's stupid. So basically, I struggled a lot in school, and the character did too. So I
Mhm.
liked it. It's by Linda Mullally Hunt.
Nice. Most memorable protagonist in any of the book like you've read.
I'd say Inedge from Six of Crows.
What inspires him to be or her to be your protagonist, like favorite?
I felt like she did, like most protagonists were, like, you could say, quite self-shaming, or like I would just get secondhand embarrassment from reading about them. But in Inedge's case, she seemed like really mature, and I could agree with all that she did. It was like, I'm me, I'm her. Yeah.
Okay, so that's all I have for our rapid fire question.
Have you read like the Six of Crows or the Shadow and Bone series?
No.
I mean,
Just
I love
like,
those books.
what's
They
that
are
about?
like fictional. So basically, it's in the Grishaverse over there. There are some, like, you can call them magicians, I guess. They can control fire, like, kind of like Avatar, if you've watched it.
No.
Uh, Never mind, I haven't watched it that much either, but yeah, some of it. So, It's kind of like that, and basically, it's about a crew of 6 people, and then they get this heist to go and steal something out of a place, something like that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. As we're heading towards the end of the episode, we have two things. One is you can ask me any question you want to. And the other one is a ritual we have in this podcast. So every guest writes a question in this notebook for the other guest, for the next guest. So I'm going to ask you what the previous guest wanted me to ask you, and you're going to tell me something which I'm going to write for you to ask the other guest. Yeah. So
All right.
yeah, the
So I would ask you, what inspired you to start a podcast, and how scary was it?
I'll tell you. Um, I was not sure about this podcast. I never wanted to start this podcast. It was not my idea. My mom, she prepared everything. She decided that we're gonna do this. We're gonna start a podcast, and I was like, huh, okay. And then like I was not convinced that I wanted to start a podcast, but the way my mom told me and we researched together, I was like slowly I started getting convinced that yeah, I should do this. And since I'm an extrovert, I like to talk to people. But the podcast was a hard journey for me, like when I started shooting, because my mom told me you have to shut up and let the other person talk. You have to just listen to them and guide them through the episode. I mean, huh, okay, fine. But it's a pretty good journey to have. And I'm like very thankful to my mom for letting me start this podcast.
Hmm. I
Okay.
mean, I'm an introvert, so I don't speak that much.
And now I have the question for you, the last guest had asked. What is your favorite thing about reading? Come on.
Um, I'm not glitching. I just can't think of what to say. My favorite part of reading is connecting with the characters, thinking about them, because I'm an introvert. I don't like speak that much to people. I usually just observe them. So I like to observe the characters, analyze them. That all sounds like pretty studious, but I just like the gossip, you could say. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm very thankful and like I'm grateful that I met you. Yeah, it was great to have you on
Thank you
today.
so much as well.
I hope.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I was worried that.
Time to close the book, but don't worry, the stories really never end. Until our next adventure together, remember to keep your imaginations fueled, your laughter contagious, and your bookmarks handy. Until next time, it's me, Aina Lilani, closing the BTP book for this week. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.
You just